Let me get this right. We are on update 973 of the Jussie Smollett case. 973, right? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, this is Old School Heart back with another cultural conversation for you guys. So first things first, if you are not a subscriber to the channel, please hit that subscription button below. Please like this video. The more likes that we get, the more people join in on our conversation, as well as share this video on Instagram, on Twitter, or on Facebook. Wherever you can share it, please share it. So let's get down to how Jussie has hijacked our damn lives for the past week and a half. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. Okay, let me give you a rundown of what's happened so far so then we can get to the cultural discussion. So a couple of weeks ago, Jussie Smollett, I don't know how you say that boy name, Smollett, posted on Instagram where somebody posted for him prayers for Jussie as he was beaten by two white men wearing Make America Great hats again. They poured bleach on him, they hung a noose around him, and they beat him. Prayers for Jussie Smollett. So everybody took to Instagram. Some of your biggest stars took to Instagram to offer prayers, to offer sincere apologies to Jussie Smollett for this incident happening. You had Taraji who said some good things about him and said, buy his music. Let's keep him uplifted and everything. You have a picture of Jussie Smollett that came out where there were little bruises on his face. And man, the internet just went crazy and just was like, see, this is why we have to fight. This is why we have to go through so much. And it was just a mayhem, right? It was just a mayhem. And here's the thing that gets me. I usually talk very quickly. I usually hop on things very quickly. For some odd reason, I did not say anything in regards to this situation. For some odd reason, my mouth went on this situation, and I waited and I watched. And I listened to people commentary. I listened to LGBTQ people talk, and then I listened to other people talk. And then people started to say, this don't make no sense. This don't make sense. This story don't make sense. Now, I'm from Chicago. In my mind, I was like, this story don't make any sense. First of all, it's freezing in Chicago. And everybody knows if you live near the lake, it's even colder. Jussie Smollett lives downtown, so he lives near Lake Michigan. It's even colder. So that was one for me. Then I was hearing people say, man, ain't nobody about to walk outside with no daggone bleach and no mask on that early. I mean, kind of, sort of, you can have face mask on, but I mean, ain't nobody walking around in that area 2:30 with no face mask on. Now, let me tell you this. I've Ubered for a year in Chicago. I've done Uber Eats in Chicago for a year, so I'm pretty familiar with the area. I used to drop people off downtown, pick people up downtown near where Jussie Smollett lives. So I'm pretty aware of that area. And it just didn't make any sense. So finally, I broke my silence and I said, y'all, this just don't make no sense. I'm not saying that he lying. I'm not saying that he's telling the truth. And let me tell you, and this is the cultural conversation that we're going to have. I was very apprehensive with this because the LGBTQ community is just like Beyonce. And what I mean by that is, if you ever hear any criticism about Beyonce, if you ever hear anybody talk about her family, you already know the attacks are coming. They coming for your blood. You better almost deactivate your account. You better shut down your Instagrams for a little second. You better put out a public apology. I mean, we just saw Funky Dineva do it. You know what happened to Carrie Hilson. that is how the LGBT community is. It's hard to say stuff about them. And so I was very apprehensive because we know that you cannot say anything against that community right now. And so I wanted to make sure I received enough information before I decided to open my mouth about this, because we already know anything that you say against them, they are sensitive, they are defensive, and they will, if they can, shut you down. And they will try to shut you down. So then we hear a little bit more of the story. We hear the police say that Jussie Smollett was not really cooperating. He wasn't giving over his phone. And we all know that Chicago PD is very suspect. So the likelihood of a black male giving anything to the cops is, I accept that part, right? I get it. Then you hear that he didn't immediately call the cops, which I'm going to let that pass too because of CPD, their behavior. Then we hear that the noose was still around his neck when the cops got there. Now, I'm not letting that slide. That's a little bit weird. I'm not leaving no damn noose around my neck. I may take it off slowly, but I'm not leaving no noose around my neck. I'm not going to do it. Okay, so we have that situation. We have that part of the story come out. The cameras, they said, were a little bit sketchy. It's Chicago, so that's another L for Chicago for that at first. So, I mean, it was just a lot of things that just didn't make any sense. And the more you heard about this story, the more you heard what was developing from Chicago PD. And I'm from Chicago. I don't currently live there, but I have really good access to our news stations and stuff like that. The more just the story just still wasn't making any sense. But like I said, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to say this boy is lying, right? So then we have the Robin Roberts interview, in which it was a lot of product placement in that interview. And when I say product placement, I mean things were set up just right for Jussie to be the victim and for us to believe in what he was saying. So he had on a lot of LGBTQ memorabilia or jewelry or accessories. And I believe he also had on a black shirt. He said that he didn't say that the people that did this to him were white. He said that he was dispelling a lot of things that we thought, or I thought, that we got from him. Because the only two people that knew about this story was him and his manager. So once he did the interview, even Robin, who was a part of the LGBT community, was just like, okay, yeah, yeah. She just sat there and kind of listened to him. Oh, let me back up a little bit. Okay, so even after they say that, he's resting, he's trying to get better from the incident, the picture of him with a semi-swollen face with a scar on it comes out. I'm thinking that he just needs time. He'll respond to everybody's kindness. Then we hear that he has a concert in an LGBTQ club, and the concert didn't sell out before this, but it had sold out after this, and he actually goes and performs. And during this concert, he says that he is the gay Tupac. So then that's when I said, okay, now you're going too far. Now you're going too far. And now here we are on update number 973, where we find out that these two men that supposedly beat him up and hung the noose around his neck were Nigerian men that he knew, that had worked on Empire before, that had left to go to Nigeria after the incident had happened and came back once everything had taken place. They had been talked to by police, which I was in Chicago. So the lawyer was actually there and said, oh, they're not here to stay. They're just giving their information and they're getting up out of there. So that was the morning in Chicago. By the late afternoon or the late in the evening, those two Nigerian men were out in Chicago chilling somewhere, eating chips, whatever. So then that fell apart. So everybody was like, okay, Jussie, what is going on? Next thing you know, Jussie gets lawyered up by a defense attorney, which you never need a defense attorney if you haven't said anything wrong or if you've never done anything wrong. You have no need for a defense attorney. So that is where we're at right now. Now they're saying the Chicago stations that I listen to and that I watch are now saying that Jussie is now suspected of this being a hoax. He is the one who wrote the letter and sent it over to Fox. This is all a scam. He paid the Nigerian actors or whatever you want to call them to help him in this whole situation. And now we got everybody in an uproar. So let's just go there. I knew that something was wrong with this story to begin with, and I have quite a different perspective on this. And let me tell you it really, really quickly. We have Shameless, we have Empire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD. Those are the shows that's in Chicago. The police stand to make a lot of money by keeping those shows happy and protected, and they're being high security. If they stay in Chicago, we make a lot of money. We make a lot of money as a city. Also, the cops make a lot of money by providing security for those shows. And I'm going to give you an example. When Empire first started and they picked Taraji's character up, they picked her up from Cook County Jail. I was working at Cook County Jail when that show started. When I tell you we could not go anywhere near that set, we could not. And we were employees at Cook County. Civilian and officers could not go nowhere near that set. So let me tell you, Chicago PD wanted to solve this quickly because they ain't trying to lose no money from this at all. So that's number one. And that's what I have a problem with is people keep saying, well, Chicago PD is sketchy. You're right. They are sketchy. With everyday black people shit, they are sketchy as hell. But for this, I'm sorry. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. And I thought that way from the get-go. So, I mean, Jussie, just tell us the truth. Tell us what was going on. Tell us your purpose for this. Because this has to be fixed. This has to be please fixed. Believe me, I love you from the bottom of my heart. I love you since you were on Queen, since y'all had that little show on TGIF, since the other stuff that I've seen you in. I love you, but you was reaching, bruh. So Jussie, make this right, because I don't want to be on update 1253 by the end of this. I want you to just end this immediately. So the cultural conversation that we can have with this is, are we too afraid to criticize the LGBT community because of what may come of it? Can we critically assess the LGBT community without being canceled? That is the cultural conversation that I want to have with you guys. Please like this. Please share this video. Let's talk about it. I want to hear what you have to say. I definitely want to hear what you have to say. Please leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching. I'm Old School Heart. Y'all have a good night, okay?